Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the Fujifilm X-T100 and my 4-month review. Now, I don't have the X-T100 because I traded in my X-T100 to get the Fujifilm X-T30, which is currently recording this review. But without further ado, let's get into the video. We're going to be talking about some pros and cons. The cons are going to come first, and then we'll end with some pros. Hopefully you enjoy this review, and let's get started. Now, con number one is definitely going to be the build quality. Now, that being said, I understand that X-T100 is definitely the low tier XT series camera, and as such, I do understand that there had to be some compromises that needed to be made in order to keep this camera affordable. But it shows. It's definitely cheap feeling. The buttons are not as tactile, and there's definitely some ergonomic issues with this camera, especially the grip, which had an innovative idea where you can remove it, but at the same time the grip is barely usable, and I don't recommend it to anyone. The only idea is to have another grip, let's say an external grip like the one that I attach, and I'll have a picture here showing what the grip looks like. That's the only way to fix the ergonomics of this camera. But other than that, yes, the ergonomics are not really good. Now with the con number two, it's definitely going to be the autofocus system as well as the touch to focus, because honestly, when you get a camera, you're going to want to have a camera that can focus accurately, and the X-T100 disappoints in that department simply because it's not up to speed and not up to par with any of the competitors. Say for instance, the Canon M50 focuses faster and more accurately. Also, Sony A6000, which is by now 4 years old, it's still focusing way faster than the X-T100, which came out less than a year ago. And so to me, it's an unreliable camera when it comes to focus. I have a 2-year-old daughter, and it's very hard for me to capture her tack sharp, because every time I try to use face detect or eye detect, it would definitely miss. It would definitely back focus a lot, which is one of the main issues I had with the camera. And also the fact that when you touch to focus, it would take almost a second for it to focus. So if you're in need or rely on fast autofocus, then definitely the X-T100 is going to disappoint. Now, con number three is going to be the Bayer sensor. The Bayer sensor, unfortunately, doesn't give you the same Fuji colors that you come to expect from X-Trans sensor cameras like X-Trans 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so the problem with the Bayer sensor is that you get overly saturated, too punchy colors that are really not pleasing to the eye, and you have to tweak. Also, when you take them to Lightroom, they're harder to process. I've seen some of my presets that I've used for my X-Trans cameras that simply do not work with Bayer sensors. So with that in mind, if you already have presets made for your X-Trans sensor cameras, you're going to have to make new ones because those won't work for the X-T100. Additionally, the colors are somewhat like, I would say, consumer colors and not photographer colors. I think that because this is a lower tier camera, then they played with the colors so that maybe consumers can maybe get used to the colors. I'm not really sure, but the colors are not so good. Monochrome though, it's really good, and we'll talk about that in the pros. Now onto the pros, and with pro number one, the flip out screen. Now with the flip out screen, you can do a lot of things like selfies, videos, even though this is not the best video camera, but it's definitely doable. And also, it's the fact that it's the only Fujifilm camera that sports the flip out screen, because every other camera either has a fixed screen or a tilted screen. So if you're into flipping screens, then you might find that the X-T100 is the camera for you. Now, one of the pros that is related to one of the cons that I mentioned previously, it's related to the colors, or rather black and white, because it has this silver-like quality to the monochrome that I really like, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of people will enjoy. And so if you're one of the people that just shoots black and white monochrome and don't care about color at all, then this may be the camera for you. pro number 3, it's also related to one of the cons I mentioned previously, and that is the Bayer sensor. Now the Bayer sensor has a lot of sharpness, and you can achieve more sharpness from the Bayer sensor than you can from an X-Trans sensor. Now here I'm going to show you some sample images where I basically shot the same subject using the X Pro 1, the X-T1, and the X-T100. As you can see, the colors are definitely not pleasing with the X-T100, but the sharpness you can get is definitely better than the X-T1 and the X Pro 1. And so with that in mind, if you want a lot of sharpness and resolution, the 24 megapixel Bayer sensor on the X-T100 definitely gives you more sharpness than any other X-Trans sensor out there. Now, on to the sample images and conclusions. Before I go into the sample images, I do want to mention that even though I did like using the X-T100, to me, the better option in a similar category, either brand new or used, is the X-T1. You're going to get better performance when it comes to autofocus. The colors are going to be way better. The handling, the buttons, customizability, pretty much everything is going to be better with the X-T1 and for a better price. Now, if you're still thinking about getting the X-T100 because of the smaller form factor, then I perhaps would suggest that you get an X-T20, which is now at around the same price, maybe a little bit more expensive new, but definitely brand new. It's a bit more expensive. Used, you can get it for either at the same price or either lower than the X-T100, which is definitely a way better deal than the X-T100. That being said, there are some applications that you could still use the X-T100 and it'll be a fantastic camera. I wanted to use it for video and it didn't do video the way I needed it to. The quality was definitely subpar, and because of that, I definitely got rid of it, and now with the X-T30, it's doing much better. Now, onto the sample images. Hope you enjoy. If you like this video, also hit subscribe and the bell notification icon so you never miss a new video. Thanks for watching.